Right, you lot, and here we are. The Qatar World Cup is officially tournament about as wanted as the Santa Claus 3. I mean, did anyone actually watch that one? I'd sooner drown in Coca-Cola. A tournament about as respected and appreciated as the Emoji Movie was in cinemas, and everyone hated it. But at last it's here, so we gotta kind of put up with it and deal with it. I mean, they only come around once every 4 years. I mean, when the last World Cup happened, Teddy's Special hadn't even come out. That's how mad it was. I was like a 10-year-old kid. Now I'm a 15-year-old kid who's not come much further. I'm still in the same room. Anyway, World Cup predictions. Now, we've already proved that you should never ask me to predict anything. Whether it's European fixtures, Premier League fixtures, I'm always so far off. I think you could probably ask Susan Boyle for predictions for this World Cup and she'd have the same accuracy as me. That just sums up how useless I am, but I'm going to predict every single group. And in these knockout tournaments, there's always so much randomness to it. The World Cup is just random, and to win the Premier League, you've got to have a lot of skill, or be called Leicester City. To win the Champions League, you have to take out a lot of the toughest opponents in Europe, and yeah, sometimes you get lucky and you see miracles like Liverpool in 2005 lifted, but most times one of, if not the best teams in the tournament will win that competition. But in the World Cup, literally anything can happen. Always one or two big nations never make it out of the group stage, and that's the greatness of the World Cup. I mean, yeah, we're going to be bloody shivering in the beer gardens this year, and that summer weather and all the atmosphere that you'd expect from World Cup will be lost through this peaceful financial corruptness that was awarding this thing to Qatar. Imagine it would have happened this summer. It would have been so much better. But anyway, let's get on with Group A. 4th place, Qatar. I mean, look me in the eyes and name a player who plays for Qatar. Name a player from Qatar that would get into the starting 11 of the top 16 in the Premier League. You can't do it. It's like trying to name a TV detective that isn't Sherlock Holmes. It's impossible. Qatar, yes, you'll say, oh, they got the host name. They got that host advantage. No, they haven't. Usually, yeah, if Germany were hosting it, you'd expect them to do quite well. Even if a lesser team, like, say, Russia in 2018, I'll never understand how they knocked out Spain, but they're not going to do well. They're not going to do anything. Qatar will only score 1 goal in this entire group stage and will be an absolute walking embarrassment. 3rd place, Senegal.
Lost his mind?
Every Tom, Dick and Stanley really thinks that Senegal gets second in this group and will be the teams to play England in the round of 16. But I mean, their star player Sadio Mane has been injured, and who have they got now? Ismaila Sarr, just some bang average championship players failing for Watford this season. They've got Edouard Mendy, he's like the most overrated keeper in the world. This Senegal side is full of championship fodder, I'm going to be honest. They're so overhyped. Yeah, they won AFCON, but they were not inspiring or exciting to watch in that tournament. This is going to be an embarrassment. They'll beat Qatar, yeah, but they'll draw with Ecuador, lose to Netherlands, and will lose out on that second spot to goal difference. 2nd place, Ecuador. Not enough people are giving Ecuador respect. They're like the Southampton of this tournament. They get results, they grind stuff out. They may not be the most pretty looking team, they may not have the most magical show to watch, but they get it done, they get the job done. I think they're just going to get over the line with this one. First, the Netherlands. I always enjoy watching the Netherlands in World Cups. I mean, they either do really well or really terrible. I mean, just look at 2010, they almost went all the way, but I think this will be a really good tournament for the Netherlands. I mean, they've got a pretty easy path, and they should at least get to the quarterfinals, and what happens from there, who knows. B, 4th for USA. Oh, the USA have too much hype, man. Everyone's going on like, oh, could the USA make it to the round of 16? No. American football fans are just embarrassing. I mean, any American fan of a sport is embarrassing, but they do realise that they're going to be a shambles throughout this competition. They're going to get destroyed by both England and Wales and Varane. And I think they're only going to score 2 goals at this tournament. It will be a disaster. Third place I've gone for Wales. I'm sorry, Wales, but you're overrated as hell. Gareth Bale has been carrying this team on his back. I mean, the guy who would happily give up ever seeing a Champions League game again if it meant he could play golf for the rest of his life. But when it comes to his international team, he takes it about as seriously as Simon Cowell takes boy band. You see how cruelly he treated One Direction. The rest of that team are just a shambles. I mean, they're starting right back. He plays for Nottingham Forest. That tells you everything you need to know. They've got a Leeds flop on the bloody wing. I'm sorry, but Wales, you're not going to do enough. Second place, Iran. Everyone is laughing at Iran, saying they're going to be the whooping boys, that England will batter them. I think England barely get over the line with Iran, with a 1-0 late winner from Bukayo Saka. And I think they're going to beat both the US and Wales. I think it's going to be a shock. I think Iran are a more well-drilled team, have a bit more quality in there that Wales just sort of lack. And I'm sorry, I'm going for the underdog here, but Iran will make it out the group. And first, it's got to be England. Where do I even start with England? Gareth Southgate is out of his depth and completely clueless, and this should be his last tournament whether he wins it or not. I think we've already established that with his team. I did an unreleased video on that when I was ill, actually, on my reaction to his woeful England squad. I'll release it if you want. I really want to see Jude Bellingham start. I think if Calvin Phillips starts a single match over Jude Bellingham, it's a disgrace. And I really want to see a bit more attacking flair. I want to see Trent Alexander-Arnold get some minutes, although we know that's not going to happen. I don't want to see a back five. Please don't. But England should have enough to top the group. I think the round of 16 tie against Ecuador is going to be a bit more of a struggle for England, but we should top this group. I don't want to jinx it, but if we don't top this group, how can you take us seriously? Please don't make this age badly. See fourth, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
What is the point of Saudi Arabia in the World Cup? They're always the women boy, and Reece Wiesler on a running marathon every year. We all know he's coming last. There's no point. If Saudi Arabia don't get fourth in this group, I'll do a whole video confessing my love to Gareth Southgate. Third, Poland. Poland is such an uninspiring team, and yes, I'm going to have sympathy for Poland because this week has not been the most lovely. They've not exactly had breakfast in bed this week, Poland, but the team are just a bit weak. I mean, they've never been able to utilise the greatness that is Lewandowski, and their second best player is Matty Cash, a bang average fullback at Aston Villa. I don't believe in Poland, I'm going to be honest. Second place, Mexico. Mexico haven't been great this year, I'm going to be honest, but in this tournament they always find a way to get to the round of 16, and then they lose. Like, they never go further in the round of 16, but they can do it, and I think they're going to do that again. First, Argentina. So many people think it's written in the stars that Argentina are going to win, that fate is just saying that this will be Messi's big win in World Cup, but I don't think Argentina will win. I mean, don't they have to play Brazil in the semi-final? That's going to be the end for them. But Argentina will obviously beat this group, winning all 3 matches and not conceding a single goal. Group D, fourth, Australia. Australia are useless on a football field. Yeah, their cricket team are unreal, but honestly, you should replace the football team with the cricket team. They'd be about as effective, because do Australians really take football seriously? Like, they're just too much about bants and shithousery that I don't really think the Australians are going to do much. I feel bad for Australian viewers. I mean, they're a massive continent and we just never do anything for this tournament. Third, France.
What have you done? What have you done?
I told you there'd be a few wild cards in there. It's World Cup pedigree. It's the curse. You know that every single team that wins it, the next tournament, they don't do well. Look at Germany in 2018. And everyone's looking at France and looking at that front line of Benzema and Kylian Mbappe and all those incredible players, you know. They had Christopher Nkunku, but he's like gone. The level of centre-backs that France have is stupid. That Ibrahim Konate is like 6th choice. I mean, yes, they have great depth, but something's going to go wrong. They're going to fall off the rails, I've got a feeling. I think the arrogance of France, it's going to come to bite. I swear I'm just trying to write away for them to lose. I don't know how they're going to lose, but they're getting 3rd in this group. 2nd, Tunisia. You're going to think I've been betted to do this. That some, like, blacksmith is behind me, holding me at gunpoint to make this decision. But I genuinely believe somehow Tunisia are going to beat France. Tunisia are an alright team. That they're worse than they were in the last World Cup, and they were in England's group, weren't they? But they're going to get 2nd. First, Denmark. People need to appreciate Denmark now. And I know people are going to say, oh, everyone knows Denmark are great. We know they're dark horses. The Ericsson story, that was like 2 years ago. But look at how well they've done. Qualifying, they were incredible. In the Nations League, incredible. It wasn't just that fluke tournament where they had that momentum due to the Ericsson absolute heartbreak moment that was what happened to Ericsson in that tournament. But they carried on from that, and I really believe in this Denmark side. I think they're going to go really far in this competition. Quarters, semis potentially. I mean, there's something special about Denmark. If Denmark don't top the group, I'll drink a whole pint of orange squash with no water in it. Group E, 4th Costa Rica. Goodbye. 3rd, Spain. Why do I do this to myself? Spain are graced with midfielders. I mean, look at the likes of Gavi and Pedri, and the lineup is stacked. Even Thiago Alcantara couldn't get into the team. But what Spain lack is attacking. Going forward, they have nothing, and I think they're going to fail to score goals, and I think they're going to lose in a shock 1-0 victory to Japan. This is my big call. I know I've already eliminated France for some reason, but I think Spain, yes, they've got the midfield, yes, they've got the defence, but in the final third, I think they're going to absolutely dominate possession, dominate Japan, but Japan are going to get ahead of them. Second, I'm putting Japan. I think they're an underrated counter-attacking team. Just look at some of that attacking talent they got, the likes of Taki Minamino, for example. I mean, I put him in my World Cup fantasy team. I think Japan are going to have a great tournament for some reason. I've just got a weird feeling that they're going to knock Spain out of this competition. The biggest shock of the whole tournament. And first, I've gone for Germany. Germany, no matter the World Cup, always show up. I mean, they're such a great, exciting team. I can't wait to see what Germany have got. F, last I put Morocco. Morocco, great country, crap football team. You're last. Third, Canada. Everyone is talking about Canada like they're some great team. That, oh my god, they beat the USA and they pit them, but they're going to be the flop of this tournament. I can already see it. Yeah, they'll get third, they'll beat Morocco, but they won't do anything else. They'll get embarrassed by both Belgium and Croatia, and yeah, that'll be it. Now, this was a really difficult one. I mean, I was scratching my head for hours with this one, but second, I've put Belgium. No. Calm down, right? Belgium's defence, just look at the lineup. It's so uninspiring. It's ageing, it's lost pace, and I don't think Belgium are great. I mean, yeah, they've got one of the best players in the world in Kevin De Bruyne, and yeah, you know, if Lukaku's there, he'll probably do alright for Belgium, and they've got some absolute great players. Their golden generation is on the way out, and I think this is the last hurrah for Belgium, but they will get out the group. But second for them. First, I've gone Croatia, a team who, again, are definitely past their prime. I mean, if Croatia end up runners-up at this World Cup again, I'll do a video where I shower nothing but honey. I mean, it's not happening. But I think Croatia will beat Belgium, and I think they'll win every single game. Last Cameroon. Cameroon, you're useless. What is the point of Cameroon? They never do well in the World Cup. Yeah, obviously, you're last. Third, I'm going to put Serbia. Serbia are another team that people are hyping up a lot, but I just don't think... I think on the big stage, they're going to throw it away. I don't know why. Yes, they picked Portugal to the top spot in qualifying. That was quite impressive for them, but it's just been quite poor for them overall. Second, Switzerland. Switzerland had the history in this tournament. I think they always tend to get to round of 16, sometimes even the quarters with Switzerland. I think there's something about them, and they also, I believe they beat Italy to the top spot in their qualifying group. So they're a solid team as well. And I think this will be close. But I think this will come down to goal difference and Switzerland will get it. First, Brazil. Brazil will win every single game. I think Brazil are the team, if you were to hold me at gunpoint and say, you're going to die if you get it wrong, I think Brazil win the 2022 World Cup. The lineup is incredible. I mean, some teams, Spain have one of the best midfields, France have one of the best attacks, and Argentina have a very great defence, but Brazil have all three of them. Brazil is stacked with talent everywhere. The fact that Vinicius Jr. might not even start. Vinicius Jr., like one of the top 5 players in the world. That just shows the quality of Brazil, and I think this will be, finally Brazil will get a win, and they will, hopefully they're not abolish 6-1 like last time. This will be the tournament for Brazil. Group H, last South Korea. I'm sorry. We all know it's happening. Third, Portugal. Oh my god. Portugal are the PSG of the World Cup. I mean, they've got all the toys available. They've got everything. They're like Disney with Star Wars. They've got all the money. They've got all the top players, but the gelling is not going to work in the team. And with all of the drama about Ronaldo, the Portugal coach is also terrible. I forget his name, but he's just useless. And you know he's not going to have the backbone and authority to drop Ronaldo. Someone who's having temper tantrums like Horrid Henry because he's being disrespected by a club, apparently. No, you're not. Admit, you've got the ego of Veruca Salt, mate. Oh, I would do a video on Ronaldo's situation, but frankly, I don't really care. Portugal are going to crumble, and they'll be one of 3 big nations to fail. Second, Ghana. I like Ghana. I think there's something about them. They're going to have this little flame and like spark of success in this tournament. I don't know why, but there's something about Ghana that I like. First, Uruguay. Hot take, Uruguay make the semi-finals of the World Cup 2022. I know. Mental, right? But I think Uruguay are going to be the shithouse entertaining team of this tournament. Everybody is going to love watching Uruguay. I mean, you've got a team of Edison Cavani, Darwin Núñez, and of course Luis Suarez. What a trio of just people who just don't give 2 horses. You'd love to see it. If I were to pick a team outside of England that I would want to win, it's Uruguay, because that front 3 is just legendary. Probably Denmark, actually. I'd go England, Denmark, then Uruguay. Right, now that was my World Cup predictions. This is going to be a shambles, because this tournament is even more random than the Champions League and the Premier League. So, it's like throwing darts at a map. I told you, Susan Boyle could predict at the same success. But yeah, I hope you lot enjoyed this. And I've got one more special video coming before I do sort of weekly World Cup roundup / World Cup reactions. So yeah, goodbye you lot.